y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Mary, and as y'all can see, I'm by myself today, so I decided to bring y'all a little story time on how I met the love of my life. Okay, so I joined the Army Reserves when I was 17, which was my junior year. So the summer of my junior year, I went to basic training, did that for 3 months, and then I went back to school the next year for my senior year, graduated, then after that I went to AIT. So, but just a little backstory so y'all can know just how I ended up there. Okay, so I was actually in a relationship from 10th grade to my senior year. Obviously, it wasn't a good relationship because if it was, I would still be with him now. But it was just like a whole bunch of cheating, going back and forth. Like, you're not finna cheat on me and think I'm not about to get no get back. So it was like, you cheat, I cheat. I cheat, you cheat. Like, don't play with me, period. I was actually pregnant my senior year from my past relationship or whatever. So I wasn't even sure if I was still going to AIT because I'm like, I'm going to have my baby like a month before it's time for me to leave. And honestly, I didn't think I would be strong enough to, leave my baby or whatever to go to training or whatnot for 3 months. Like, it's a newborn, who would want to leave their baby to go, train? And then at that time in the military, well, still in the military, if you go on to like training or anything, like you have to sign someone over custody of the baby. So obviously I would have gave, my ex full custody of the baby because if something happened to me in training and I die or something like that, they need to make sure that the baby is taken care of. Okay, so I ended up having a miscarriage like a month before it was time for me to go to AIT. So while I'm pregnant the whole time, obviously I'm thinking, I don't think I'm gonna go. I might get out, or I might see if I could go at a later time once the baby get older or whatever. But with me having the miscarriage, I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and go because obviously I had already went to basic training. I'm like, why would I let my career go to waste if I'm not even pregnant no more? Obviously, I hadn't gained weight from being pregnant. I knew I wasn't in shape, and I knew it was gonna be hard for me to like get back right and get into the exercising or whatever. But I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna give it my all and I'm gonna go for it. Cause I'm like, my relationship already going bad, and it's like, I need to set myself up for my future. Like, I need to, get my career together or whatever. So fast forward, I get to AIT or whatever. So when I first got to AIT, I was in uniform company. So I hadn't got there, like got settled in. We got our drill sergeant. The only thing we hadn't did was started class, but like we had got our rooms, who was gonna be our roommate, everything. Like literally did everything. Like we getting settled in here. So AIT is, I think it was 10 to 12 weeks. Because, okay, so when you get there, you still have to wait for everybody to come. Like, you got people, being that I was in the reserves, I flew by myself and I got there by myself. So it was like, everybody else, you got people coming to AIT from basic training, which was my husband. Okay, so I was in a whole nother company or whatever. So my husband was in basic training at the time. So he was actually graduating, getting ready to come to AIT, and I had already went when I was there or whatever, waiting for our people to come, which I thought was our people. But apparently, the company that I was in, it had like 9 platoons, and like, if you don't know, you could have up to 100 people per platoon. So it's like, we was packed. Like, the company, it was too many people, like too many soldiers, like 9 drill sergeants. Like 9 drill sergeants can't keep up with that many people. So it's like you was able to get away with so much stuff. Like, so much stuff was happening, people sneaking liquor and everything. And it's like, because it's too many people, there's no way that you can get caught. So I was at AIT for about 2 weeks when they told us, y'all finna change companies or whatever. They like, yeah, there's too many people here, and since y'all are just getting here, we decided that we're gonna wait for the other people to come from basic training, and they just gonna put us all together. So I'm like, damn, this bullshit for one, because I already done been here for 2 weeks. Like, this supposed to be coming off of my time. Like, I'm ready to go back home, So Fast forward to the day that we ended up moving company, so we got changed to Victor Company, which was like a 5-minute walk to the next barracks or whatever, to the next building. So we had to walk over there. We moved all our stuff, like everything. We literally had to unpack everything that we bought. We unpacked. We had to pack it back up and basically move everything to the new company. So that was the same day that my husband and them got there or whatever. So we saw them getting off the bus. Like, you know, you get off, you getting shark attack. They make you do push-ups, just yelling at you, doing all this. So we just sitting here watching the whole thing or whatever. All right, so then we go into in processing, and it was these 3 dudes that I like, they sat like right behind me. I had them met 2 other girls, so we was all like sitting together, and then my husband, 2 other dudes, it was this guy called Edwards, which was my dog Eddie, and Haygood. So they all sat behind us or whatever. So being that we had already been at AIT, we was already telling them like, you know, everything that happened. And we like, yeah, people already gonna put us on or whatever. But if you want to keep your phone, just, if you got 2 phones or whatever, just either tell them you don't have a phone or put the old phone in the bag, because like they took your phone for the first 4 weeks. So we actually got our shit took for like the first 6 weeks, because we was in the bad platoon, and our drill sergeant, like, she just didn't play. So it was like, any little thing we did, she like, oh yeah, y'all ain't getting no phones another week or whatever. Cause she like, oh, it's a privilege to have your phone or whatnot. So anyways, they stand right behind us. We putting them down on everything or whatever. So I'm not even looking at them no type of way, because like I said, I got a boyfriend, and they just coming from basic training, so they bald head, looking ugly and whatnot. So I ain't even studying them now. I'm just honestly just being a friend. Okay, so fast forward to like maybe a week or 2 after that. So we start school. So our platoon, no, it wasn't. I would say everybody was in the same class, but we wasn't. But somehow, so me and my husband, we ended up in the same class or whatever. So our class was packed, and it's like, it was this back row that the instructor sat on. So it's like they didn't want anyone sitting on that row with them, because like if they grading tests or if they putting together tests, like they just didn't want you in their business. So that was where my husband was sitting, back there next to our instructor. So he like, yeah, we got to move you or whatever. You can't sit here. So our class full, is nowhere else for him to go sit. So they move him. It's already me, another guy, and another guy sitting like at one table or whatever. So it's like, it's really not even no space. Like, I kid y'all not. He like, go sit next to Thompson. So I'm like, it ain't even where he gonna sit. Like, it ain't nowhere to sit. Like, then he finna be elbow to elbow with me or whatever. So I wasn't even feeling it, because I'm like, damn, that's too close. Like, I ain't gonna be able to move or whatever. So he ended up coming, sitting next to me. So at first, like the first couple of days, we didn't really say nothing. But it was like, we just was chilling or whatever. We didn't really talk. So it was like, going on maybe another 2 weeks after the fact, we ended up starting talking, getting to know each other. We like, where you from? And he like, I'm from Cordelia. And I'm like, stop lying, I'm from Valdosta or whatever. So that's like an hour and 20 minutes away from each other. So we like, shut up or whatever. So then I'm like, what's your sign? Like, I'm a Virgo. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, it ain't no way. Like, how? Like, it was so crazy. Like, so like I said, I had a boyfriend. I'm not even thinking like nothing like that. But it's like, we hit it off. Like, once we found out where we was from, that we both Virgos, it was just like, we was click tight from there. Like, so it was like, we talked every day. We started getting close. Like, I started calling him brother. And it was just like, we talked about a lot of things. And I ended up actually sharing to him about everything that I was going through with my ex or whatnot. And just like, I don't know, him and Eddie, that was my dogs, like, that was my brothers, like, we was there, like, I talked to them about anything, they give me advice, and they gonna tell me, so it was like, they already told me he was cheating on me from the jump, like, just from everything that I was telling them, like, man, that nigga cheating on you, whatever. So, obviously, I don't want to believe it, because, like, I done been with this man, like, 2 years, and it's like, I don't know, he just started moving funny, like, real shady, like, I be trying to talk to him. He won't want to talk to me. Like, I don't think, he was like, my life don't revolve around you and all this and that. So I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from all of a sudden? Like, I go to AIT and now you don't want to talk to me. And it's like, I'm telling you, oh, I think it was something about he wanted to go to the club or something. And I was like, I didn't want him to go. So he's like, I'm not going to put my life on hold for you and all this and that. So I'm like, okay, nigga, for one, you already giving me a weird ass vibe because we done been together 3 years. You knew what I left to go do, and now you feel like you putting your life on hold for me. If that was the case, then we should have just broke up before I left. So it was just a whole bunch of little weird ass shit going on. Like, he just wasn't really talking to me. He wasn't being supportive for me or none of that. Like, it was just a lot. So me and my husband, we started getting closer and closer. Like, as I was telling him that and I was hurt, I'm just like, I don't know, it's just like I was just falling in love with him. Like, as I was talking to him, like, as he was just being there comforting me, like, he wasn't even trying me on that, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you and this and that. He honestly was so respectful, and like, he would just listen to me, like, when I talked, like, and it just was on like a genuine, I don't know, like, it was just like always a genuine conversation with us. Like, it always just felt so pure. Like, I don't know. So we ended up hitting it off, and the final straw where I'm like, fuck it, I'm finna go all in with this man. Like, it was one night, I called him after school. I called my ex after school, and he like wasn't answering the phone. So I'm like, I'm getting worried. Like, I don't know. And I had saw someone post like, oh, it's a roadblock or whatever in Remington, and that's where we had lived at. So I'm like, dang, maybe he got, caught with weed or something like that when he got off work. So I'm calling my mama. I'm calling his sister. Like, can somebody go over there and check on him? Like, I'm worried about him. He not answering my phone calls or whatnot. So I'm like, this is so weird. So then he ended up calling after my mama went over there, and he called me. He was like, oh yeah, I was asleep or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I was worried about you. Didn't think nothing of it. So another night came where he was out at the club with his friend or some shit, and we was on the phone when I got out of school. So he was like, I'm gonna call you back. I'm like, all night went, he never called me back. So I started calling from like 12 to like 3 in the morning. Mind you, I got to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to go work out. So I'm like, this man still ain't hit me back up. Like, he ain't text me or nothing. It was like, how you tell me you're going to call me back, but then I'm calling you all night and you're not answering the phone? So, red flag. I already knew what the fuck was going on. So I'm like, at this point, you ain't even finna keep playing with me. Like, I'm not dumb. I already know you a cheater. I already know shit been going on before I even left. So it's like, it is what it is at this point. You want to play, we finna play that game. So I went head first with my husband. So I'm like, whatever. We could take it a little further. So as we started texting or whatever, he ended up calling me baby and this and that. And we ended up telling each other we love each other or whatever. So it's like, I ain't even hiding the fact to my ex, honestly. Like, we got gold pass and we able to go to the mall. Like, I'm taking pictures with my husband, like putting it on Snapchat. Like, I'm basically letting him know, like, this what it is. Like, you want to play with me? Let's get it. Like, don't play with me. So I kind of was doing it out of spite, but at the same time, I really did care about Justin. So we kept talking, and like I said, we ended up just like falling in love with each other. And it was like, when it was time for us to leave to go home, I was so sad. Like, I didn't want to leave him. Like, I just felt like that was just gonna be the end of us. Like, I wasn't gonna see him no more. Like, I don't know. So we ended up going our separate ways, or then we gave each other our last hug. And y'all, I tried so hard to hold in my tears, because it's like my mama and my ex was outside. So I'm like, damn, I can't be like showing them like I'm sad, like I don't want to leave, like I don't want to come home. So I ended up sucking it up or whatever. And we kept communication. We came back home or whatever. But obviously it wasn't as much, because I'm like, okay, I'm back home with my ex or whatever. Like, I just can't be moving the way I'm moving no more. Until, yeah, I feel feel like I'm all off topic, but it's like I can't go on to the next part without telling y'all how I got there. So yeah, I came home like 2 days after I came home. I found the condom in the trash can. Yeah, so I'm torn. I'm like losing my shit, flipping the fuck out, because I'm like, obviously I've been gone, so it ain't mine. And then it's like, I don't know, everything that just led up to it was so weird. Like the day that they were supposed to come to my graduation or whatever, we was actually arguing, me and my ex. So I told him, like, I don't even want you to come to my graduation. Like, you ain't even been supporting me this whole time. Like, I don't need you there. It's no point. So the fact that this man really was not gonna come, like, and that's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, this nigga cheating. Like, how? Obviously, I'm telling you this because my feelings hurt, and you really gonna listen to me and not come or whatever. So my mom, like, she waiting on him that day or whatever, because they was gonna drive. It was on like a 7-hour drive, so they was gonna drive to come see me, and he wasn't like answering the phone. Like, it wasn't no way for him to, like, my mama just couldn't get in touch with him at all. So it's like, then he ended up calling me like, oh, I got in a wreck or whatever, and the lady totaled my car out and this and that. I was grocery shopping with my dad, all types of bullshit. So that was it right there, because I'm like, you supposed to, my mom was like, he told her he was going to the hospital to get a doctor's excuse because he was gonna have to miss work. But then when you called me, you telling me you was grocery shopping with your daddy and you got in the car wreck. So what? Like, anyways, so okay. I'm like, whatever, nigga, stop lying and this and that. So I'm like, that's what your ass get. Like, God do everything for a reason. And you was out sneaking and geeking that same day, and God took that motherfucking car from your ass. Because ever since he had, I ain't even gonna speak on all that. That's just too deep. But look. But yeah, y'all. So after I found the condom, so I ain't even, the day I found the condom, I'm still just like, man, you're not dumb. You're not dumb. Like, so I called my husband or whatever. I'm like, what you think? I'm telling him how I found it. Like, and the way that I found it pissed me off even more, because it's like the shit was so stank. Like, he had been there for days. Like, I don't know. Like, and that's honestly, that's how I found it, because I'm like, damn, something stinks. So I'm going, taking out the trash. So I dumped the trash. It was the trash in the bathroom. So I dumped that trash in the kitchen trash. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, maybe he took the trash out in a while or whatever. Y'all, as soon as I dumped the trash, the condom sitting right there. So I'm like, nigga, like, we really doing this, like, in our house. Like, I already know you a cheater, but damn, you gonna bring a bitch to our house? So anyway, so my husband like, yeah, that's it. He cheating on you or whatever. Like, he ain't sugarcoating nothing. He like, you already know what it is. Like, he gonna say it's somebody else or whatnot. So he ended up coming home, not even lying, y'all. He literally, I'm like, who condom is it? He couldn't even say shit. He just looking at me with a blank face, like. And then he tried to call his friend. So I'm like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, I already know that. Then he like, bro, why you left the condom in the trash can? Da 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 da. Okay, first he tried to say he didn't even know who condom it was. He like, I don't know. Then he called his friend. He like, why you left the condom in the trash can? So you don't know whose it is. How do you know who to call? And then it's like, you trying to coach him, like, why you left the condom in the trash can? Like, but you didn't know who it was, though. You didn't know whose own it was, right? So, I'm just like, that's bullshit. Like, cause for one, the nigga that he called, I done lied to a bitch for him before. So it's like, you ain't even about to play with me with this. Like, it ain't no fucking way. So I'm like, fuck it or whatever. So I started back talking to, well, I never stopped talking to my husband or whatever. So we started texting a little more, like, and at this point, I'm ruthless. So I'm like, you don't play with me. I done found a condom in my house. Like, it's felt game. I don't give a fuck how you feel. Fuck you. All that. So I used to be on the phone with my husband on FaceTime. He'll come off work, and I'm undercover caking. Like, yep. And what? So Yeah, like, I was just reckless as fuck. Like, I ain't even care no more. It's like, that's the last time you gonna disrespect me. And like, it's one thing to cheat, but you got to be a low down motherfucker to cheat in the house that y'all got together. Like, this was our first house together. Like, it was horrible. Like, so okay. Then he always used to be gone. So it's like, after that happened, okay, so after that happened, I was being reckless or whatever. I didn't care. So I ended up going to the club one night with my friends or whatever. So I was obviously talking to Justin while I was out at the club and texting him or whatever. So I texted him, I missed him. So obviously, I guess he was asleep or whatever because he never texted back. So by the time I got home, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I done fell asleep. He texted back after he wake up and he like, I miss you too, baby. So I'm like, so my ex seen it or whatever. So he had to text me back or whatever, you know, feeling some type of way or whatnot. So the next day I woke up or whatever, he mad. He like, fuck you, this and this and that. You got nothing calling you baby and all this and that. But mind you, I just found a whole fucking condom in the house. Like, I've been gone for 3 months. So, like, I know it wasn't for me. So, then, so he actually ended up, he used to just stay gone. After that, he found out about me and Justin. He ended up just leaving all days or whatever. He'll come, like, just to take a shower and this and that or whatever. So, I'm like, whatever, like, you know, you just in and out, like, you're not being consistent. It's nighttime. Then when I do try to call, whatever, to talk to him, he never answers. So obviously he'll have me on do not disturb. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. So I already knew something was up. So boom, he came home one day to take a shower. So I'm waiting on, I'm like, I'm about to get this phone to see, because you ain't even about to sit here. And the fact that he was making it seem like I'm the reason he left and all this and that, like, he was just in his feelings because of me, like. But that's how cheaters do. They could be cheating for years or whatever. Then the first time you get caught, they're going to make it seem like it's you. Obviously, if they already got a little whoop going on at the same time. And the fact that I had came home, he already knew that he wasn't even going to be able to cheat like that no more with the girl. Because obviously, you got the girl coming to our house and all this and that. So, fast forward, he came, took a shower. So, I ended up stealing the phone. I jumped in the car and I pulled off. So, he had to change the password. So, I'm like, okay, so I know it's something. So the girl actually had already texted him, like, her name was right there. So I'm like, okay. It was a weird ass name or whatever. Like, it was like a nickname he gave her or some shit. So I'm like, damn, I can't even get in the phone. So like, I can't see what she said. I can't call her, none of that. So I don't know, my instincts kicked in. I'm like, hey Siri, call the girl or whatever. And it called her. So I'm like, okay. So I talked to him. And so when she answered or whatever, she thought it was him. So then when I started talking, she like was so shocked. And she like, who is this or whatever? And I'm like, who is this? Like, I'm his girlfriend or whatnot. Like, what's going on? Like, so she like, he didn't tell me he had a girlfriend and da-da-da-da-da. And I done been to the house. So I was asking all type of questions. She like, I done been to the house and we done fucked and all this and that. He done gave me head. So I'm sick, y'all. I'm like, okay, so it really was what I thought it was when I was gone. Because obviously, y'all done been doing this for some time. Like, so I'm like, okay. So he knew that I took the phone because as soon as I took the phone, y'all, he was in the shower. So he came out there chasing me when I went to go get in the car, like, dead ass chased me, but he ain't got no clothes, so he couldn't run all the way outside. So he just standing there mad as fuck in the door looking sick. So I ended up, he ended up getting, and I had to hit his keys too, so he couldn't even leave to come follow me. So he ended up, I told him where the keys was because I was ready to play at this time. So he done found the keys, and I was just riding around on the phone and shit, just talking. So he came or whatever, trying to get his phone back, hitting on the window, all this and that. So I'm like, okay, shit, I don't care. Like, you done got caught up. Like, you doing all this because you got caught. Like, and yeah, I'm happy as fuck about what I've been doing because obviously you've been doing you this whole entire time. Like, the fuck? But Okay, so and then where was I? Okay, so after all that happened or whatever, hold on. So after all that happened, like I said, me and Justin just kept talking or whatever, and I told him everything that had happened. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, I was hurt. So it was like me and Justin kind of had fell off a little bit or whatever, and we just wasn't texting like how we usually text. So we ended up getting back right or whatever. Like, you know, we started back texting. So I started to go see him. So it was like 4 days was coming up or whatever, and he wanted to see me, I wanted to see him. Like, we really had started hitting it off like all the time, like talking or whatever. Like, and we hadn't got to the point where he was calling me his girlfriend. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess. Like, I hadn't been single for about 6 months or whatever, and I hadn't already knew him, and I'm just like, shit, why not? Like, it ain't gonna hurt to try it out. So he used to have 4 days. I used to fly out there to California, or he would either come to see me, and even if it was just like 3 or 4 days, he was still coming to like see me, just, you know, to have time. Cause like, my biggest thing was I don't do long distance relationships, and that was something that I knew I was gonna have a hard time with, because just like, I like to, you know, be with my man. I like to, you know, be able to do stuff, spend time or whatever. And with him living way in California and me in Florida or whatever, which I had moved after everything to go to college, I moved to Florida. So I'm like, I don't know how this gonna work. So he started flying me out there like every month or every other month for me to come see him. So I'm like, okay, that's working, because, you know, obviously I'm going. We get to have a little sex and, you know, just have fun, enjoy each other's company and all that. So, okay, that was cool. And I'm like, I really started like rocking with him. I'm like, okay, maybe it ain't that bad or whatever. So after so many times of him coming to see me and me going to see him, like, it was just like, damn, I want to be with you all the time. Like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I want to be with you. I want to be there with you every day or whatever. So we started thinking, why not get married? Like, okay, he's in the military, so we knew, honestly, it wasn't nothing that we could do about the distance and the time. It was just like, it was gonna have to be when we could do whatever we wanted to do. So one day, I honestly was just playing, and I'm like, we might. Yeah, I just heard. I don't know. So one day, I'm just playing, just talking. I'm like, man, we might as well get married. So we started laughing or whatever, and then he's just like, maybe we should or whatever. So I'm like, huh? Like, I'm like, okay, all right. It's one thing to be in a relationship, but I'm honestly not thinking about getting married, like, right now. Like, but it's just like, I don't know. We was just like on that level. Like, it was just, that connection was just there. Like, we wanted the same thing. Like, we hadn't been through so much of the same stuff. Like, from the cheating to just going through so much stuff with him getting in the military. Like, he had weed charges, misdemeanors, obviously, and all this and that. He had to like get waivers for it. And it was just like, so much stuff happened to him, happened to me around, like, I ain't gonna say the same time, but it's just like everything just worked out. Like, everything that happened to him that was going on with him, it ended up making him wait to join the military, to like go to basic training at the right time, to be in AIT with me at the exact same time. Like, cause remember, I'm telling y'all, like, I did basic a year ago before I went to AIT. He was just leaving basic when he came to AIT. So I'm like, damn, everything just, when he started telling me, like, yeah, he had to go through this and this, like, he's actually supposed to join the military a year before all of that. So, like, if he would have joined that year, we wouldn't have met each other at AIT, because obviously I wouldn't have been at AIT yet, and he would have been just leaving basic. So, it's just like so much stuff was just working out, and it's just like, I don't know. We kept talking about it, and I went to Cali one weekend, and he proposed to me. So obviously I said yeah, and I was happy because I'm like, okay, you know, we're gonna get everything together, and I'm gonna move out here, and we're gonna live happily ever after, which we honestly did. Like, I moved to California like 4 months probably after we got married. Like, we got married in Vegas, and it was like the best little wedding, like, because it was just us. Like, we had all white, we cute, like, we in the moment. We stayed at the Palms Hotel. Like, everything was just like a vibe. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't. I was like the happiest girl in the world that day. So I'm like, that's just how I knew that I was making the right decision, because I didn't have no doubts on me and this man. Like, even though I was 19, he was 20, like, we didn't have no doubts. And it's just like, we was ready, and we meant that we wanted to be committed to one person for the rest of our life. Like, we knew that we loved each other. Like, we knew that we didn't want to cheat on each other. We don't want to keep going through different relationships, dealing with cheaters and all this and that. It's just like, everything that I wanted, he wanted. Everything that he wanted, I wanted. So it's just like, everything has worked out, and here we are. Going on 3 years later, June 19th, we have been married for 3 years, y'all. Like, and it's been the best. Like, it's just, I just see myself growing so different every day as a woman. And he'll say the same, that I'm just making him to be a better man. And it's just all works out. Like, I don't know. I couldn't be no more happier. And honestly, I tell everybody, it was God's plan. Like, there's no way that we went through all that to still end up meeting at the same place at the same time. Like, he's my twin. Like, how do you put my twin in the same place at the same time as me? Like, I just feel like it was destined. And yeah, y'all, I know I kind of got off track, but like I said, I just couldn't tell y'all one thing without telling y'all the other, because it's just like, y'all gonna be like, what? Well, how this happen? How that happen? Or whatever. But yeah, y'all, that's how I met my baby. And y'all got plenty more years to see from us together. So yeah, it done been 30 minutes already, so I'm gonna just go ahead and close this video out. If you are a new viewer, make sure that y'all smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so y'all know whenever we drop a video. And yeah, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for the continued support. Like, we appreciate everybody. Like, we're not where we want to be on subscribers or whatnot yet, but we just gonna keep working, and one day we gonna get there. And I hope that we got people still rocking with us, that been rocking with us from the jump, and also new people, obviously, that were just, you know, coming across us. And yeah, I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching.